this is actually more of a question. Well, it's a question for the fighter, but if Stephen Espinoza wanted to join in and give his take on it, I don't know if you can. I'd like to hear his take. There's been a lot recently that's being made of fighters' purses, and some fighters saying, listen, they understand the I guess the math behind it. Some fighters not so much. We've got promoters that are kind of pushing in the direction towards maybe paying fighters less. Is this something? And in fairness, I've only got to ask one PBC fighter, and this PBC fighter is Vito Nomeki Jr. told me no, that he doesn't expect to see any cut in his purse. Are you expecting this? Have you heard any of this? And do you think, if you haven't, do you think that this is that fighters are right to feel that this is unfair?
I mean, definitely. When somebody gets their pay gets cut, it's some people always think it's not fair, but my contract stayed the same. Everything in my deal has stayed the same with this fight, next fight. But if I have to take a pay cut, then I will take a pay cut. That's up to my managers and my promoters, and we could definitely come to an agreement. You know what I mean? But as of everything, I feel like my fights. I give the best fights I could possibly give. They're very exciting, for the fans. Whether they're at home or they're live. So I feel like everything should stay the same with me. But if we have to come to an agreement, we could definitely come to an agreement.
Okay. The next question I want to ask you, recently on your social media, you posted an interesting picture. It caused a bit of an uproar, I feel. I don't know if I have to describe it to you, but it's David Benavidez sitting on a throne, and for brevity's sake, everybody else bowing down.
Well, I mean, that's definitely that's where the point I want to get in my boxing career, where everybody has to bow down to me. I feel like I'm the best fighter, 168 at super middleweight. I'm just not getting the fights that I want. You know what I mean? And of course, everybody's gonna get mad. All the fans are gonna get mad. This and that, But I didn't come to the weight division. I didn't come into boxing, just to say another person is better than me. Obviously, my mentality is that I'm always gonna be the best, even if I haven't got the fights yet. I'm always gonna be the best because I train like a world champ. I am a world champion. I train like a world champion. That's always gonna be my mentality. I don't care if somebody gets mad because they think that because I said I'm the best. That's how I'm always gonna be. And if somebody's mad and they want to prove me wrong, they come prove me wrong, and that's what it is.
Okay, and the last question I'll ask you. I realize that this is I'm excited to see Showtime back in the game, but I watched some boxing yesterday. There was a middleweight at 168 pounds, super middleweight, 168 pounds. Edgar Berlanga did his thing last night. What are your thoughts on that? And I'll be honest, I saw a few comments on Twitter, the Puerto Rican-Mexico rivalry, Benavidez, Berlanga, maybe in the future. What are your thoughts on Berlanga?
That's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe he did his thing. Shout out to him. He had a great victory last night. But I don't even. Has there ever been a fight at 168 of Puerto Rico versus Mexico? That's what I'm just thinking right now. So that could definitely be a great rivalry down the line. Just let him prove himself, and then I'll be more than happy to fight him. When the time's right. I'm here to fight the best. That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Let me ask you about this. Over the last several weeks, you have been linked as a possibility to fight Canelo in September. How real was that?
I mean, I think everybody's possibility right now. I mean, I seen he gave Jason Quigley, an offer. I think everybody's just sitting back and watch, see what happened. I have the belt. I have a WBC belt at 168, so I'm pretty sure it's very real. But I never got an offer. I just heard.
Never got an offer. You just it was just okay. And you're 23 now. You're still 168. You foresee yourself at light heavyweight here sometime soon?
Yeah, I think so. But as of right now, there's a lot of great fights at 168. Obviously, like there's Caleb Plant,
right?
There's Callum Smith, there's Canelo, there's
right.
Billy Joe Saunders. There's so much great fighters at 168, and there's a lot of great fights to be made. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna be here until I make all those fights. I have a long time in this boxing game. I still have about 10, 13 years, in boxing left. So I don't have to move up too quick. I think as soon as I get all these fights and get all the belts I want to get at 168, then it's time to move up to 175. But as of I'm staying at super middleweight right now for a while.
So, obviously you're trying to get the big fights, in your weight class, 168 pounds. How frustrating is that for you? And do you think that it's a matter of, guys not wanting to fight you, or do you think it's more from a business perspective? What's your honest take on that? I'd also like to get your thoughts on Caleb Plant. Do you think that would be a competitive fight as well?
Well, to be honest, it's not really that frustrating. It's just that getting back into it. I had just recently won my belt back in September, and I think I would have got these big fights by the end of the year if this pandemic wouldn't have hit. You know what I mean? I was supposed to fight already in April. I probably would have had two fights by now by around this time. So, I think this COVID, it just impacted everything. It's not me that it impacted. It impacted everybody in the world. So everybody has to move, at a slower pace and then keeps moving. I feel like we're on track to get back on there. It was a little frustrating because I feel like I was already, on my way to getting these big fights, but obviously this slowed everything down. But it's probably for the best. So everybody could be safe. Everybody, the whole world needs to recover for this. I don't think we have to just talk about boxing. The whole world has to recover before we move forward. But yeah, man, like I said, hopefully by next year I can get a fight with Caleb Plant if everything goes good. It's definitely a fight I want. I feel like that's definitely a fight the fans want. Boxing, needs in the middleweight division. And, he's a great fighter. I'm a great fighter, and I feel like we just need to get this fight going. There's a lot of bad blood there, so I feel like it's a great fight for boxing.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.